Hello, dear friends. Today is August 7th, 2025, and as usual, we present to you an overview of the current situation on the map of hostilities. Despite relative calm along most of the front line, certain changes have occurred in specific areas along the line of contact. The main developments are still taking place in the South Donetsk and Pokrovsk directions. There have also been minor movements in the Konstantinovka sector. Additionally, there are updates from the Kupiansk, Kherson, and Sumy directions. We will cover all of this in detail in today's report. But before we begin, I'd like to kindly ask you to subscribe to the channel. Your support greatly contributes to the development of our project. Many thanks to everyone who's already with us. Now let's start our overview with the Kherson direction. About 5 strikes were reported on Ukrainian positions here, targeting Lvovo, Daryevka, Nikolskaya, Antonovka, and Kherson itself. Moreover, there are reports suggesting that Russian forces are possibly preparing an amphibious operation on one of the islands. Let me remind you that the bridge in this area had previously been struck, but it withstood the attack. At the moment, all indicators point to a potential landing operation. Whether this is confirmed in practice, we'll find out soon. Ukrainian sources claim they repelled one attack near Pridneprovskoye and reported positional clashes in the areas of Dakhnoye and the Antonovsky Bridge. It is worth noting that FPV drones remain the key instrument in this sector. Ukrainian military personnel report that Russian FPV drones have virtually scorched the right bank of the Dnipro River, making it extremely difficult for Ukrainian troops to hold positions. Any approach results in destruction. All this strongly suggests that preparations for an amphibious assault are underway. In general, throughout this entire section of the front, both FPV drones and artillery are actively engaged. Now we move to the Orikhiv direction. No major changes have been recorded here. Fighting continues in the areas of Mala Tokmachka, Belogorye, and Novopokrovka, as well as near Novoandreevka and Malia Shabaki. Positional battles are ongoing across all these locations. Reports from Stepovoy indicate Ukrainian FPV drone strikes on Russian positions. In response, Russian artillery shelled Ukrainian positions in Plavny and Stepnogorsk. According to some sources, Russian army sabotage and reconnaissance groups, SRGs, have begun infiltrating Stepnogorsk. The Ukrainian side claims they were all eliminated, but this cannot yet be independently confirmed. As for Plavny, this area is currently classified as a grey zone, as Ukrainian troops had previously attempted to counterattack Russian positions. But based on available data, all assault groups were destroyed by FPV drones. The front line in this sector remains unchanged. We continue on to the area of Zelenoi Pole, Novosyolka, and Volnoi Pole. Available information indicates that Russian forces have leveled the front line between these settlements. Video confirmation is expected soon, after which map updates will be made. Additionally, there are reports of active Russian attacks on Ukrainian positions near Kamyshevaka, the last settlement in this part of Donetsk region still under Ukrainian control. Attacks are also ongoing around Novosergeyevka, and Russian forces are advancing toward Alexandrograd. Today we also received video footage from this area. Earlier, Russian troops advanced along the Andreevka-Klevtsovo supply road, clearing forest belts both north and south of the route. The new footage confirms the presence of Ukrainian troops. A Ukrainian armored vehicle was destroyed, indicating that the area has not yet been fully cleared despite Russian advances. It is likely that isolated Ukrainian units remain, or that the territory is heavily mined and still requires further clearing. Let's continue. North of Grushevskoye, the front line has shifted. Reports state that the territory has come fully under Russian control, with an advance of up to 2.5 km. Positional battles continue all along the line of contact. Ukrainian positions came under fire near Ivanovka, Filia, and Novopavlovka. The only settlement currently holding back the Russian advance on Novopavlovka is Muravka, the last remaining location in this part of Donetsk region not under Russian control. Regarding the pocket between Orikhovo and Dakhnoye, there are preliminary reports that Russian forces have cleared the entire area. However, this information still requires confirmation, either in the form of video footage or reliable reports, before the map can be updated accordingly. Now we turn to the area of Udaknoye and Kotlino. In the Udaknoye area, Russian troops have reportedly secured positions along the supply road and are applying pressure from the east. The situation is evolving in such a way that if Ukrainian forces fail to retake the road and launch a counter-offensive, they risk losing both Udaknoye and Kotlino. If these are lost, Russian forces will have the opportunity to reach the E50 highway and cut off Pokrovsk's western supply route. Let's now examine the Pokrovsk direction. So far, one new video has emerged from this sector. Previously, reports had suggested that the settlement of Novokranka had come fully under Russian control. However, we stress that any changes on the map are made only after receiving video confirmation. Informational claims without visual evidence are not sufficient for map updates. There were reports that Russian units had entered Chunishino. There were also reports that Ukrainian forces began retreating toward Novopavlovka. However, as of now, confirmed footage has only come from one specific location. Earlier videos were also obtained from a neighboring area. Today's footage shows forward Russian positions. According to this data, everything marked in red on the map has come under Russian control. In this sector, the Russian advance is up to 1 kilometer. As for the alleged presence of Russian groups in central Pokrovsk, their fate remains unknown at this point. It's possible they managed to exit the city, or they may have been eliminated. Neither the Russian nor the Ukrainian side has published any new video footage from the center of Pokrovsk. Additionally, there are reports of Russian troops advancing toward the settlement of Rodinskoye, where fighting has already begun. Recently, it was reported that Russian forces secured industrial buildings near the settlement, and attacks on Ukrainian positions are likely being launched from Suketskoye, which had earlier come fully under Russian control. This has been confirmed. Consequently, the entire red-marked area is officially under Russian control. There were also reports that Suvarovo had come under Russian control, but these remain unconfirmed. Therefore, that part of the map remains unchanged. Russian troops are also reportedly advancing from Nikolaevka toward Mirnograd. However, according to some sources, the forces are currently entrenched in the industrial zone and have temporarily halted their advance, unable to push further toward Mirnograd. That's all for this sector at the moment. We continue. In the area of Stepanovka, Russian troops have reportedly approached the settlement closely and, according to some sources, have established positions on its outskirts. Fighting is also ongoing near Rusin Yar, and Russian forces are reportedly expanding their control near Poltavka. However, these reports are still unconfirmed and lack video evidence, so the map remains unchanged. Video footage has also emerged from one location where 2 Ukrainian armored vehicles were destroyed by Russian FPV drones. Nevertheless, the map in that area has not been updated. Now we move to the Toretsk area. Here, progress is being made in favor of Russian forces. Earlier, it was reported that Russian troops had advanced near Sherbinovka. Now, there are reports of Russian units entering Klebenbeek. However, this information comes from pro-Russian sources and not from credible ones, so it is likely premature. Once video confirmation or reliable reports are received, the relevant map changes will be made. At the moment, changes have been recorded on 2 sections of the front. One of them relates to events from 2 days ago, as no new video footage was received yesterday. The entire territory marked in red was taken under control by the Russian armed forces 2 days ago. Today, new video footage was received from another location, showing the forward positions of the Russian army. The advance in this area is up to 1.5 kilometers. At the same time, there were earlier reports claiming the capture of Alexandro Shultino, but they turned out to be premature. All current indicators suggest that the settlement remains under Ukrainian control. Meanwhile, news emerged of Ukrainian counterattacks in the direction of Belaya Gora. Although Belaya Gora had previously been taken by Russian forces, the Ukrainian side is trying to regain control. However, no changes have been recorded on the map in that area today. Moving on to Chasiv Yar. Positional battles continue near Nikolaevka. This is the only current update from this direction. Now we shift to the Siversk direction. According to the latest reports, Russian forces are attacking the northern part of the city of Siversk. Fighting has been recorded at a specific point where Ukrainian positions came under attack. The Ukrainian side claims to have repelled 3 assaults. Nevertheless, the front line remains unchanged. As a reminder, Russian forces had earlier taken control of Novosyolovka and advanced northward, both from the eastern direction and from the direction of Verkhnekamenskoye. There, Russian forces managed to establish themselves in a trench line. There are also reports that 3 Russian attacks have again been repelled in the northern part of Siversk. For now, this information exists only in the form of news reports. Simultaneously, Russian forces are reported to be under attack near Grigorovka and Serebryanka. In turn, the Russian side claims they are making progress in the Serebryansky forest, expanding their zone of control. This could indicate that Ukrainian forces are gradually withdrawing from the forest. Recall that the Serebryansky forest is a part of Luhansk region, a small portion of which was still under Ukrainian control. Elsewhere in this direction, there are no changes. Let's move on to the Krasnyi Lyman direction. The only video footage received today is from one location where Russian forces advanced by 1.5 kilometers. According to current dynamics, the Russian armed forces continue their offensive on Shandrigolovo, both from the north and from the direction of Zelenaya Dolina, along the supply route. This road leads directly into the settlement, and Russian forces are now attempting to bypass it from the northern outskirts. Active fighting for the settlement may begin in the coming days. There are also reports of an expanded Russian zone of control in the Kolodezi area and of the strengthening of their positions. Similar actions were recorded near Redkodub, with an advance toward Novy Mir. Ukrainian positions have also come under attack near Olgovka and Druzholyubovka. No other changes have been recorded on the map. Now to the Kupiansk direction. Today, a video was released from one of the locations where Russian positions came under attack. This confirms that forward Russian positions were located here, south of Radkovka. Based on the analysis of this data, the map was updated in favor of the Russian army, with an advance of up to 1 kilometer. Previously, it was reported that Russian troops had advanced on the northern outskirts of Kupiansk and entrenched themselves in the industrial zone. Additional videos were received from other locations, which appeared to show active combat positions of Russian troops, though not forward ones. All areas marked in red on the map are currently under Russian control. It should also be recalled that a section of the map in Pokrovsk was previously updated in favor of Russian forces who entered the city center. It is possible that sabotage and reconnaissance groups, SRGs, operated in this area. The advance from the line of contact here was up to 4.5 kilometers. This may have been the result of a flanking maneuver, including in the Moskovka area. Recall that there had been earlier fighting for Moskovka, during which Russian forces attempted to storm the settlement in order to reach the supply road and encircle Kupiansk from the west. 2 new video materials from that area were received today, so changes to the map are likely in the near future, pending additional confirmation. Moving forward. In the Kharkov direction, positional battles continue near Chugunovka, Khatnoye, and Ambarnoye. Russian forces also came under attack near Melovoye. In Volchansk, activity remains high, as it does on the Lipsy direction. However, the map has not changed here. In the Sumy direction, Ukrainian forces have repeatedly attempted to attack Alexeyevka, but as of now, it remains under Russian control. All assault attempts have been thwarted by Russian FPV drone strikes at the approaches to the settlement. There have also been reports of attacks on Russian positions near Yablonovka and of strikes against Ukrainian positions in other areas. Heavy fighting continues in Unikovka, around Sadki, and near Kondratovka and Konstantinovka. That concludes the current updates on the situation. Thank you for your attention, and until next time.